Hi guys and girls, and welcome to Talking Heads podcast live from Pattaya, Thailand. I'm the host Dave D, and thank you for joining me here today, and thank you for joining our family. For you guys out there, of course, who have already subscribed to the channel, thanks a lot. And of course, for you guys out there that want to know all of what's coming up and happening, hit that notification bell right now. Of course, we are a listener-sponsored podcast. We survive from you guys liking us and we liking you. We're one big family. Thanks for joining us. There's a lot to come, and we'll see you soon. Don't forget all the links below. See you next time. Bye. And, of course, Trevor is with us today all the way from the UK. But before you even speak or say anything, all right, we've got the USA over. I've got to do it right there. We've got the USA over there, yeah, and England over here. How do you say your last name?
Sewell.
I really hate you, Bobby. Trevor, welcome to the show. And for people that don't know,
I had a girlfriend named Michelle.
You have
Sewell.
to put that in, didn't
and
you?
if she's listening to right now, hi Michelle.
Michelle,
He's just
I
called
learned
his
the correct pronunciation of Trevor's name because of my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, sure.
There you go.
After the first 3 frying pans, you always do. Thanks for joining us, Trevor. It's nice to have you on the podcast, of course. And we've watched a lot of stuff that you do and done and have got. But for number one, people that don't know you, we're going to try and just sort of fill them in on who you are. Of course, from Sunderland, yes?
Yeah, well, Newcastle, but it's pretty much the same place.
Is that right?
12 miles up the road. Yeah. The
12.
only thing is we have football teams, Newcastle and Sunderland. So I've always got to be careful to say I've got to mention Newcastle.
All within 12 miles, yeah.
Yeah, with 12 miles, but it's like
dangerous. Dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, like Liverpool and Everton.
Yeah, of course, gathering from what you're doing, the guitars in the back, and we know from what we've seen and watched of you, which we're going to play some later on in the show. Musically minded from what age, though, Trav?
Well, I think it was about, I did my first gig when I was 13. So that means I started learning when I was either late 12, early 13. It was funny because I'd never thought about playing anything until my brother Dave brought a guitar into the house one day, and he also brought a John Mayall album in, the one with the Beano, with
Eric Clapton holding the Beano magazine.
Eric Clapton, yeah. And it just started. It's like went ding, down, 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 down at the beginning of the first track, "All Your Love," and I just thought, I want to do that, and that was it.
You was hooked.
Took 10 seconds. Yeah, totally, completely.
And that was just the guitar straight the way. Did you ever in your early days fancy doing something different, or did you try the drums, the bass, or clarinet?
Well, all I really wanted to be, until I discovered the guitar, was centre forward for Newcastle United.
Not much of a difference there.
No, not really. But what I figure is that I'm going to start practicing football again now. And if I practice every day till I'm about 90, I'm bound to be good enough, That's my theory anyway.
That was your theory, but didn't work it out. I mean, now picking a guitar about 12 or 13, I mean, listening to the Lennon album, I mean, where did you go from there? Did you self-taught or what was it? What was the steps?
Yeah, it was. I've always been self-taught. The interesting thing about when I started playing is I must have really wanted to play because the guitar that I had was an Antoria Les Paul, and I didn't know at the time, but it was pretty much unplayable,
Mm-hmm. You started on a Les Paul.
Well, it wasn't a real Les Paul. It was just like that sort of shape thing.
Okay.
But it was a very cheap guitar, and the strings must have been a half an inch off the actual fingerboard, so it was almost impossible to play. But I stuck at it until me mum and dad bought us another guitar, and I couldn't believe how easy it was to press the strings down. I thought they were all like that, I mean, you used to have to get two of your mates and to say, "Hang on, hold me thumb down, will you?"
What was your first guitar, Bobby? Actually, a Fender acoustic in 1974, and then about 6 months later, I bought a Martin D35. I saved up all my money and bought a Martin D35. Yeah.
Do you understand that one, the D35 one, Trevor?
Yes, I'm afraid I do.
Nothing to me. I thought that was in Star Wars.
It could have been used then.
So when you got the guitar that you found out was a lot easier than the one that somebody had put together quick. Where did you go from there? Did you sort of like say, okay, like everybody that learns to play an instrument, I want a band?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. And oddly enough, we used to play football like just in a little field down the road. And there's some of my friends that I've been friends with from about 8. You know, there was just one day, I don't know how it came up in conversation. Said, "Oh, do you fancy being in a band?" And to this day, I don't know if you heard a band called Geordie that were from Newcastle. Brian Johnson out of AC/DC was in them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We made the bass player who was started with when neither of us knew a chord or anything.
Uh-huh.
Like, in fact, I remember the very first rehearsal we both had guitars, and I remember saying, "Are we meant to tune these things in with each other, or do we just tune them in?" And we didn't. And it was really. Yeah, that's how it started. And he taught me how to play Not Fade Away he said, don't do anything with the left hand. They just hit the guitar, with the right hand like that. So, but he went on to, he's a fantastic bass player, to this day. In fact, he played on Matter of Time, not on the live album, but on the studio album that we did. He played on, so we're still in touch even after all these years, you know.
Pretty cool, eh, Bobby?
Absolutely, man. Those are some stories.
Mine, I haven't come very far since then anyway. I'm still trying to master that banging the guitar for Not Fade Away.
So Trevor, when you had that high action on that guitar, were you playing a little slide too? Did you get into slide playing at that point?
No, I'd never heard of slide or anything by then. This was just literally, you just had to strain so hard just to play a chord. So by the time I got this other one, I was flying.
In heaven.
It was all of a sudden like somebody had said, "Oh, here's one you can actually play." And it was, that one was only about 18. I think it was about 18 pounds or something like that. The good one that I got, you know.
And what was the good one? What model was that?
It didn't have a name. I still remember it. Though. It was like a sandy coloured one, and it looked a bit like, the size of a 335 or something like that. So it was quite a big guitar. But I remember when I was going to sell it, the neck actually just snapped off, you know. And I did try and fix it. This is terrible. I tried to fix it with a hammer and a nail.
No way. Come on.
Yeah, I really did. It was a different time in those days where I really didn't know anything. It was like, "It'll never come off now." And then my brother gave us his guitar, which was a Hofner. So that was the first proper guitar.
Yeah. So that was your first proper one, a Hofner. Very cool.
Yeah, Hofner Colorum. I wish I still had it. It was a great guitar.
Wow. And what kind of amps were you using back then?
Well, in those days, you're talking about amps. This was before we sort of had amps. You know, it was like. No, I tell a lie, because I also got the amplifier off my brother. It was a Vox AC4, so it was a 4-watt amplifier. And our bass player Dave, he had a Selmer 4-watt Little Giant. So, and for the PA system, we had a real tape recorder that we found a switch that you could turn it into a microphone. And for the drums, just to make this worse, and I'm not making this up, the drummer had a Quality Street tin half full of marbles.
Come on.
No, it's absolutely true. We did have a singer as well, and he had a pair of maracas, which we thought were like, wow.
Those were the days, man.
I'll tell you what, I'll tell you what, that drummer was lucky. At least he had all his marbles. That's much to be said about the guys here.
Actually, the worst thing about it was they were my marbles. If I see him, oh, right.
And if you see the other guy, tell him I want my maracas back.
So what age were you starting to gig? How old were you?
13.
You were playing gigs at 13 years old?
Yeah, the very first gig I ever played, my dad fixed it up for us. It was at a drill hall in a place called Debden Gardens, which is in Newcastle. And there was about 400 people there, you know. And we'd never played before. And the main band that was on was my brother's band. And so we were going on, we only knew 3 songs, so that's what we were going to play. The bass guitarist, Dave, that I mentioned before, who was, like I say, a fantastic bass player now, he'd never played a real bass guitar before. He'd never ever tried one. So my brother's band had a Fender Precision.
Wow. Beautiful.
So until he went on, he'd never touched a bass guitar in his life. So he just went on. The drummer had never played a full drum kit. I was using my brother's amp, so I was all right. I sort of, I was okay with it. Yeah, and it was amazing. It was like a life event, because like 400 people, and they all liked us,
That's good. That's good. When they like you,
it's never happened since.
Well, at least you started on a high, Trev. I mean, come on.
Yeah. But I can still remember the set list. We did 3 songs. We started off with "Well Respected Man" by the Kinks, and then we did one of my songs, which is called "Out of Sight, Out of Mind," which could easily be confused with "Can't Explain" by the Who. It was pretty much the same, except with worse words.
Which words?
And then we finished up with "Walking the Dog" by the Rolling Stones.
Ugh, I know that one. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to play a clip. I mean, Bobby's got some clips at the end here. We've got stand next to him. Yeah.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about this track and tune and where you recorded it? And this is a live gig, yeah?
Yeah. The live gig. It's from the new album, which is live in Portugal. Obviously, we're up all night trying to think of the title for that.
Yeah.
So, but it was a fantastic place, a really beautiful place called Vila do Conde. It was their blues festivals, and it was the first one that would sort of headlined in Portugal. That particular song is sort of like about trying to live up to, if you're replacing other people and things like that, it's like, sometimes you just got to let things go because,
move on.
If somebody's been doing something for a while, once they've gone, everybody tends to sort of say, "Oh, they were brilliant. They used to do this. They used to do that."
Gone,
so you just got to sort of let it go and just start as yourself,
All right, okay. Are we okay, Bobby?
Hey, before we start this track, let's shout out to Danny and Claudia.
Yeah, Danny and Claudia, how you doing over there? Hello from all of us.
Hi, Danny. Hiya, Claudia.
Okay.
All right, let's have a little bit of this one. Let's have a quick listen. Okay, we're going to play this one. Trev, have your cup of tea.
Yep.
Great, here we go. Stand next to him.
Let's go stand next to him.
Oh, yeah.
Hey. It was a really great fun, this one. It's probably the best blues festival I've ever been to, organisation-wise. Fantastic people.
Looks great. Let's have a listen to it.
Okay.
This rising wind will blow you away. There ain't no way you can stand next to him. Though he may be gone, the memory remains. The myth grows each day, so stop fanning the flame. There ain't no way you can stand next to him. Good things come to those who wait. Just be yourself, and the wind will change. There ain't no way you can stand next to him. Stand next to him. Good things come to those who wait. Just be yourself, and the wind will change. Yeah, the wind will change. That's right. change. Yeah, the wind will change. Yeah, the wind will change. The wind will change.
Wow, like that one.
Oh yeah, what a track!
Thank you.
That got us going in. Our legs were going up that aisle, right in the table. I was going, yeah.
Drop D tuning
Great.
there, Trevor.
It is. Yeah, it's a strange tuning actually. It's I use a D tuning where the D's drop down, but the top E's up to an F sharp.
Oh, interesting. Got that third up there on the top.
Yeah, the only reason I did it actually, because that's the tune I tend to use for bottleneck for slide playing, is I didn't know about drop D tuning, so I just got it wrong and learned how to play it like that. You know.
Beautiful.
Interesting.
Great track, man.
Great, though. I mean, it's really cool. Any influence on that one from anywhere, or that was just straight one?
I don't think so. I think that just sort of came out. You know.
Well, it came out very good. Current situation at the moment. I mean, we speak to Danny over in Germany and guys all around the world about what they're doing and how this COVID is. I mean, how's it with you guys?
Well, it's we're in lockdown at the moment now in England, so it's sort of pretty bad. But I've been very lucky because I've got my studio in a house, and as my wife's remarked before, it's like, you know, since the COVID thing, it means I've just been like unable to go out, stuck in my studio all day.
But you can get some work done. You can get some work done, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would have been doing anyway. You know, I could have quite easily missed it.
So, I mean, the touring stuff, I mean, going on the road, I want to just take you back to when you're 13, 14, going back to then, I mean, and getting a band together. What was it like then? I mean, where were you? At Newcastle, Sunderland, you was travelling around to the pubs and gigs?
Yeah, when I was 13, 14 thereabouts, and probably 15, there used to be a lot of dances and things in community centres. We used to play at those. We used to play at youth clubs. And we used to play sometimes like school dances and things like that. You know. As I got a little bit older, we went onto the club circuit, which I know Danny's done exactly the same.
Yeah.
Same things as what I've done there. You know. And we used to be playing 7 nights a week, sometimes 8 shows, because it's just how it was at the time. There was so much stuff about.
I mean, we're talking, what years are we talking now? 70s, 80s, 70s?
Like the end of the 60s, 70s.
Yeah, so good times for bands, good time for a lot of things, actually.
Fantastic times for bands. It was great because everybody was like really into it. Everybody's really interested to see the band. You never went anywhere that wasn't full. You know.
No, I mean it's. I mean, you know, looking at the one we've just done, stand next to him, and you on a stage playing with your band and everything. You know, personally, you know, I've done this DJing thing for a long time, but when you see the guys like you on stage doing your thing, I just think that you can't beat it. And sometimes I find it a crying shame that there's not more of it. Original stuff.
Yeah, I wish there was. I feel sorry for the young bands in particular because, I mean, I wish there was more around anyway. But at least we had that. You know, we had the heyday of where there was so much stuff about. And I mean, I went professional when I was 17, and it was like no problem just to pack a job in and to go professional. Yeah, because there was jobs about if you wanted one. You know, but I didn't want one.
the thing that you say, I mean, about today and then, of course, you know, in those days, the bands, the groups, the songs were great, fantastic, and of course, when you compare it to today and the bands that they're trying to put out today, I mean, you know, all these bands that they put out today, they've all, you know, what we're talking of that are manufactured, they've all got a shelf life on them. You know, they've all got a sell-by date, guaranteed.
Yeah. You know, when you think back to, I mean, you know, talking about like life events and stuff like that, I remember the first time Jimi Hendrix appeared on Top of the Pops and it was like nobody had heard of him. You know, and it was just like it was like an amazing event because you'd get somebody like Herman's Hermits or something on before them, you know, and then this bloke came on, and when you went to the pub that night, that's all anybody was talking about.
Trevor,
did you see him on sort of pubs?
Were you old enough to see him? Did you ever see him live?
No, do you know, I was going to see him, and I think that was when I got me Les Paul. Yeah, it was when I got me Les Paul. And I said, I'll see him next time he comes up. And of course, he never came back. That was 1971.
Yep.
71, yeah.
Or so, maybe 70. Was it whichever one it was 70 or 71, yeah. Is it 71, Jimi Hendrix?
I think 71.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 71, yeah.
Just
I might be wrong there.
Hey, so we can, hey, between me and you, Trevor, we can edit that bit out. If we're wrong.
Yes, I think. If I'm wrong, please do.
Yeah,
you can take the cranberry tea out if you like.
Hey, listen, if you're wrong and we have to edit that one out, by the way, the PayPal account is. What about now? I mean, in lockdown and what you're doing now, do you think you're being a lot more creative now? You've got this time on your hands.
Well, to be honest, I've always got this time on my hands, you know. So it's like it's not so bad for me because I do like a lot of stuff. I've still been playing sessions, particularly in America, remotely and things. So it's something that I've sort of always done, you know, having the studio. So yeah, I am working on a lot of different projects at the moment, but I've also discovered the television.
Yeah,
Netflix.
I've never really bothered with it before, and like now it's like I think, oh, Ant and Dec's on tonight. Great. I shouldn't know Ant and Dec's on tonight, you know, but I do after Coronation Street.
And we've got another track coming up, Trevor. It's Another Time. Yeah, is that right? Another Time.
Matter of Time.
A matter of time. Okay, so that's my writing. You see, that's my a matter of time. Can you just tell us about that one just before we play it?
Yeah, that one. When we originally recorded that song, it was Dave, who I mentioned before, Dave Robson, the bass player. He dropped down and he played bass on it here, and then we did all the pre-production here, and we recorded it in Nashville. And the backing vocals are done by a lady called Mia Morovis, who is she's great. I mean, we had some fantastic singers out there, but Mia's she's the featured person on that one. The live one is obviously Mia's not there. I've just went around this circle a bit there. Actually,
you did well. Do you want me to edit that bit out as well? No, we can't. We're not.
Me digging.
No, we keep it in. Okay, let's get back. Let's get back on the circle. Whichever way we're going, Trev.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, all right. We're gonna play this one a matter of time. All right.
You're right. I have no defense. You're right. Well, who cares? Not me. This is the last place that I won't be.
Trev?
Hello?
There we go. Oh, yeah, there we go. It froze for a minute. You were like out for a minute with a cup of tea in your hands.
Oh,
Don't worry.
I just do that every now and again. It's like street art, you know.
Yeah, I'm going to say, don't worry. It's a podcast, not a hold-up. Of course.
Hey, Trev, you sound great, man.
Wow, we love it. Love it.
Thank you very much, chaps.
Yeah, everything is just perfection. Thank you, man.
I think yeah, I like it. I mean, I like that. Yeah, we had two sort of guesses in the studio. Knopfler, you said that in your mind, Knopfler, right?
Mark Knopfler.
Knopfler, yeah, and I said it was Chris Rea. That's what it sounded like to me. And then we said that we'd ask you at the beginning of the show, and you said the Americans won, which put us on a bad path, and that's where we've landed.
I did.
Go on.
I do actually get both of those from time to time, Chris Rea, and because Chris Rea's from Middlesbrough as well.
I've got to say this, and I mean this utmost. I love what you do anyway. It's fantastic, but I love the Chris Rea side of you. I do it. I mean, that one we just listened to. I mean, it's very, very good. The first one, I'd never heard the first one that Bobby played tonight. Stand next to him, yeah. Never heard that one before he played it tonight, and that hit the spot.
Great, glad you liked it.
Well, that was praise for you. So
hey, Trevor, before the show, you were mentioning that you went to school with Mark Knopfler.
Yeah, it's quite funny that I get sort of compared with him so much. I mean, to be honest, it's like Mark's older than me, so it's not like we're best mates. I did used to go around to his house sometimes because I was mates with Dave Knopfler, who was in the same class with me, and Dave was also in Dire Straits. But I remember going down to their house, and Mark would be sitting playing an acoustic guitar, and it used to sound great, and it would probably be a Bob Dylan song. And I always thought he was brilliant then, and and I think he's done reasonably well for himself. I think
he's doing pretty good.
Yeah,
and this is at what age? This is through high school, yeah.
Yeah, this is through. I think I don't think he was there when I first went. It was the grammar school, so it'll be from about 13. Maybe 12.
And he was playing Dylan tunes. So was he kind of inspiring the younger guys, younger lads in your classes?
Well, not really, because it was like there was a few people played guitar at school. There was another guitar player called Jeff Sadler who was a fantastic player, and he used to he was sort of like the man there. But I always thought Mark was a little bit on the underrated side. But I only ever saw him play in a house. I never saw him play outside anywhere. Actually, he was on TV with a girl called Sue Hercombe, I think, playing Bob Dylan songs.
Wow, amazing though, yeah. I like it how you get the connection, and then suddenly, you said that you didn't sort of like connect 100%, but how you've got a similar sound to what you do, yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess we also had exactly the same influences,
Yeah, sure.
Being from the same place, the same school, everybody was listening to the same stuff, But I do remember that Mark was the only one that I'd seen that could play fingerstyle. It was like folk fingerstyle he was playing, really. But he was the only one that I knew who could do that. I couldn't do that, And it's like, so. Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan, so there's no doubt about it, and I think he has influenced us in
a lot of
other ways,
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I mean, some great tracks, and of course, a great sound and his own unique style, which, like you said, all rubs the car. Okay, we've got this one coming in from Danny over in Germany, of course, our friend. Can you see that or not on your screen?
I can. I see that. Hi, Danny.
There you go. Would you like to go ahead with that one and tell us all about it?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good link, because I had 3 guitars stolen. That red Fender that you see on the screen at the moment, I didn't get that one back yet, but it might come back. I had a Les Paul stolen, which was this one.
Okay, and we'll go back onto your screen. Okay, there.
Yeah.
I had this one from being very young. I think I was 17 when I got it.
Right.
And it was the one my dad bought us. So it's like,
It's the one.
This really meant an awful lot to us. But what I was saying about the link before is it was actually when the guitars got stolen, I was like really touched by the fact that everybody on Facebook really joined in. We estimate we reached about 10 million people, you know.
Wow.
Even people like Nils Lofgren was tweeting about it, Leland Sklar, Janice Ian, Mark Knopfler. Me guitars are still up on Mark Knopfler's site.
Wow.
So it was just quite an amazing time, you know. Danny put us in touch with Ray Wilson out at Genesis, you know, he did a little video about it.
Yeah, he said that.
You know,
So where were they taken from though?
They were taken from about 20 yards from where I'm sitting now.
Come on.
Just,
so this could have been could this have been a neighbor of yours?
I don't think so, no.
Someone just driving down your street and
I think it was opportunists.
Wow.
They've just come down and have just went, wow, look at that. And I mean, we're looking at hours, 5 to 10 minutes, if that, out of the car. I was going to a gig. I still did my gig.
So where were they taken from? Out of a van then, or a car?
Out of the car.
Oh, so you was arriving at the gig, they were in the car, they've sort of come by and took them out the back?
I was at my house, actually. I was going to go to a gig.
All right, sorry.
So it's like I came in and I put a message up on Facebook, and I went. Fortunately, I had other guitars as well. So I thought it's going to serve nobody for us not to go and do my gig. So I went and did my gig, you know, and then I came back, and Facebook had just absolutely exploded. There was something like about over a period of a week, we got like something like 8,000 or 9,000 shares.
Wow.
Something like that.
Well, good
and
for you.
Had the TV and the radio were ringing up and things. It was.
So when they where did they turn up? The other two, you got them two back, yeah?
No, I've just got one back. I've got the Les Paul back.
Okay, so where did that turn up?
Well, it was still local, I think. I don't know exactly where, but I was just really surprised because I just got a call off the police, and they said, "Hello, we've got a gold guitar. Any interest? And would that be interesting?" And I said, "Oh no, I've got another guitar now." And then I said, "I'm only joking. I said, "Have you got me Les Paul?" Went, "Yeah, it's sitting here beside." I couldn't believe it, you know.
Wow.
And then the policeman came round and gave us it back. It had been damaged, but I got that fixed.
Like you said, probably opportunists that just sort of like seen them on the back seat, nicked them, and want to sell them to the mates. And what can you say? Probably that one that you got back was the most distinctive, maybe.
Yeah, well, it was definitely the most distinctive, and it had been advertised online somewhere, and I know it had gone up to 5,000 quid.
So there you go.
It's like. So it had got to somebody that knew what they were doing, but the police didn't really tell us anything else. I don't think, you know, I got the impression they didn't really want us to ask about. That's Simon the policeman.
There we go. Hello, Simon the policeman.
My hero.
Wow.
He is. I like it. We like that one.
And that Les Paul's worth about $20,000 at least, right?
Pounds, yeah.
Well, I don't know how much it's worth, to be honest, because I'd never ever put a monetary value on it because it was my guitar.
Wow.
But I believe, for all I didn't see it myself, I believe that online it was up to about $5,000 when they stepped in, you know. So I think it's worth quite a lot of money, you know. But
Good.
And your dad bought it for you.
That's right, yeah. So it was like I just wanted that back, you know. It's like if I'd. I wouldn't have gone and bought another Les Paul because I couldn't replace that one. That's that Les Paul, and that's
a sentimental Les Paul. You can't never buy them.
Yeah, I mean that's been through everything with us, you know. It's been
sure.
Hey Trevor, can we talk about your influences? Can we talk about the blues guys that you like to listen to when you were growing up?
Yeah, I mean I can be pretty specific about this really because. I think I mentioned early on about when my brother Dave brought the guitar into the house and that John Mayall album, that Blues Breakers album, that just changed everything for us. I'd never heard anything like it, you know.
Yeah, that was a big one.
And then the next one that came along that had the same effect on us was "Are You Experienced" by Jimi Hendrix. So I started learning guitar by learning how to play those two albums. So that was a huge influence on us. The next album that really influenced us, I don't know how much it's influenced. I think it probably has, but that made a big difference to us was the last album that Freddie King ever made, called Burglar. And it seems that not many people know about that album, but to me, it's just one of the best blues albums ever. He's got fantastic, funky, like band on it, and actually, when Freddie King died, he was meant to be coming to Britain, and the first gig that he was doing was going to be, I think, it was one of the gigs on the tour anyway, at least Cliff Hall in Folkestone. It was Folkestone, yeah, and we were meant to be supporting him, but of course he died.
Really? You guys were going to open for him?
Yeah, we're going to open for him, and I was really excited about that because it was like, wow, it's Freddie King.
Oh my God!
But Freddie King, yeah, Freddie King, Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix.
And the name of that record is called Burglar?
It's called Burglar, yeah. It was the last one he made.
I got to check it out. You got me interested now.
You've got to hear it. It's a brilliant album. I think it's the best he's ever done. He had the Gonzalez horn section on it.
Okay.
And Pete Wingfield played keyboards. And actually, Pete Wingfield played on some of our stuff in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
I wish I'd but he didn't tell us he played with Freddie King. I would have been after his autograph, you know. You must hear that album. You'll absolutely love it.
Gotta check it out. Gotta check Burglar, like someone ripping you off, right? Nicking you. Burglar.
Yeah, it's quite apt for me, really.
After the Les Paul comes back.
I would have said fitting, but that'd be the wrong words, wouldn't it? That would be. What about sort of present day? I mean, what are you working on at the moment? You've got is it Independence? Is that right? Somebody's mentioned Independence.
No. Independence was an album I had out a few years ago. I've actually had six albums out now, but Independence I really liked that one, and so that's the very cover.
Nice. I mean, and that's to where now? I mean, Independence is there, and you say you've done what, 6 albums now?
Yeah, and on most of the albums, I've managed to do a duet. On Independence, it was with a fantastic singer called Lorraine Crosby, she's best known for Meatloaf. I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
There she is. We got her up now.
Okay.
Yes. So she was the featured vocalist on that Meatloaf track, which of course was a hit everywhere, you know. But she's a bloody brilliant singer. So we did a duet on Independence, and I've managed to do duets on most of my albums.
What about
with other people?
What about the influences on each album? Say from Independence, has that changed to your next album? Has that got a different feeling to it?
Yeah, all of the albums are completely different. Really, to be honest, it's like the first one was a little bit. It was Call Your Name, which was a little bit more like a blues album, really, I suppose. Independence, I got my cigar box and things by then, and
right.
It was much more songs orientated.
Where was Hollow recorded?
Hollow was recorded, 90% of it, or 99% of it was recorded in this very room where here actually, and I did some vocals for it in Capitol across in Hollywood, Capitol Records. In the slide parts on a couple of the tracks on Hollow were Paul Barrett, and he did those remotely and then sent them to me, and I mixed the album. Yeah,
Paul is one of my heroes, and he just recently passed away last year.
That's right. Yeah, Paul was he was great. He was one of mine as well, you know. And I remember when the files came through, you know.
Goosebumps time, yeah.
Yeah, it was like.
What about
wow, you know?
What about present day, bringing you up to today? I mean, what is your latest album out now, and what is the feel to it and the inspiration?
Well, the latest album I've got out at the moment is a live one. So it's how we sound. It is how we sound live, you know. So, which is like the versions we've put out are quite different to on the records, because we sort of play differently every night. I've got a great band, and they know that I've got no sense of structure, and they've just got to follow us wherever I go, you know. and it really works, because I can't remember any. I do a placebo set list sometimes for them, you know. Because they'll say, there's a set list, and I'll go, yeah, all right, go on, I'll do a set list. And I'll give them a set list, and then I'll go and do something completely different, you know.
Well, you must have, to do that, you must have played a lot together, yeah? With these cats?
Yeah, we've played quite a lot together, yeah. It's like, you know, sometimes I just start
telepathic.
I shout back, and yeah, and they just know what to do. And we've had the album out. This track you played before, Matter of Time, there was a great keyboard player on it called Paolo Veloso, who was from Villa Laconda, where we're playing, and we got him up to jam with us, and what a great keyboard player, you know. So we like to keep it pretty spontaneous, and sometimes the lineup changes, but it's always me, James Ward on bass guitar, and Trevor Brewis on drums.
I think a lot of good things come out of spontaneous, Trev. I mean, a lot, you know.
I love it.
Yeah, I've seen same as Bobby at the side of me. You know, I've played with and been with a lot of people over the years, and I just like it when they just break into something else away from the normal, the track that they put on an album. They suddenly do something completely different and go on spontaneously and carry on entertaining. And I just think sometimes they come out with some of the best tracks ever.
Keep everyone in the moment, yeah.
Absolutely, you know, we never panic about anything. If anything happened, I mean, God, there was one. It's a clip on YouTube. It was from one of my solo gigs where I'd just done the intro and things like that, and my bloody phone went off.
Oops!
So I had to answer it. You know, couldn't just let it ring.
Oh, you had to do that. Yeah, I was going to say you had to answer it, Trev. That's the only manly thing to do.
That's the beauty of playing with great players. When you're with great players, you can go anywhere. You know, you can go anywhere.
Yeah. You rang me, darling. Don't worry about it. Nobody can hear you. Yes, there was. There was 500,000 volts pushing it out.
Yeah, it's, you know, we don't take things too seriously. We just like go for it. And I think we've still got the spirit of when we started playing, which you just wanted to play, and we're still like that. We just want to play, you know.
That was that phone moment, Trevor. I mean, if we be honest about it, was just saving face moment. You can't do anything but answer it, can you? You've got to answer it now. You're the one.
Really, yeah.
You're the one that left it on, boy. You can answer it.
I don't mind. I still leave it on sometimes. I keep forgetting, you know.
When I've spoken to guys in the past and artists and musicians around the world, I mean, a lot of the things I always ask them is, you know, who was your main influence? Okay, and does that still stick in you today, or have you changed what you like over time?
Well, I mean, I think my main influences were very much set with Eric Clapton, early Eric Clapton. I have to say that Blues Breakers album, I mean, Eric Clapton's a great guitar player, and I've liked lots of stuff he's done since, but I think that Blues Breakers album is just staggeringly good. I cannot believe he could have been so young playing with such maturity like he did on that album, you know. So it was a very specific album rather than just saying like Eric Clapton as a guitar player.
Yeah, sure.
And it was the same with Jimi Hendrix, you know. All your experience was just like, wow. And
that was like going to a different galaxy. I mean, Clapton was on one galaxy, and you go over to Hendrix, and that was a whole nother thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was just amazing, because like what had nothing like that before, you know.
Yeah, we heard nothing like that.
Yeah, and you know that sort of stuck with us. So, but I've played in so many different things where, like I played the American basses in Germany when I was younger, where I had to play lots of covers.
Yeah, sure.
all night. And then I played in Dubai when Dubai was a tiny little place, you know. We're playing 5 hours a night doing things like everything from jazz standards to sort of rock stuff to all the pop stuff in between.
Good learning curve, though, Trev. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's all sort of rubbed off. So I don't have a guitarist that I think like, oh yeah, great. I don't. To be honest, I don't listen to an enormous amount of music because I'm playing all the time.
There you go.
I think. What about
But I love music.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, we can tell that from what we've seen and listened to since we was introduced to doing this night with you. I mean, Bobby. You know, I mean, Bobby's a musician, and I say, what do musicians always look at other musicians like? He went, well, you know, we listen and we can hear, and we've got the ear. And I went, hey, listen to this guy. What do you reckon? And this guy at the end of the table, well, he was bopping, he was jopping, he was nodding his head, and I went, what do you think? He went, absolutely brilliant, dude. So there you go. That's from an American guy as well. You see.
That's brilliant.
So speaking of Eric Clapton, did you ever get to play with John Mayall?
No, I would love to play with John Mayall.
See,
that's on my bucket list.
He goes through so many players. I mean, and you were right in that neck of the woods, yeah?
Yeah, I think I'm still pretty far down the list.
Nah, no way. But, you could totally hold your own.
I would absolutely love to play with John Mayall, even if it was just anything. That would be great because John Mayall, you know, he means a lot to us. I've never met him. But you know, it's like I'm on the music thing. I'm interested in lots of different things. Like I did a Native American album a while back, and I've got an album of instrumentals called Surf Spies and Film Noir as well, which is like all that type of stuff. So I like doing lots of different diverse things.
I mean, we loved it. I mean, we've looked at quite a few things. I mean, you was really into it, weren't you, Bobby?
Yeah, it was actually online the other day. Trevor shared a whole bunch of Dropbox links with me, and I dove right in. And can you talk to us about Nashville and your connection with Nashville?
Yeah, Nashville.
Yes, you have this connection with Americana and Nashville, and I'd like to hear more about that.
Okay, well, this all started from like a lot of things start from Facebook. I was on doing a live session on a radio station over here, and there was a producer in America called Jeff Wilborn, who he's worked with people like Johnny Winter and things. You know, it's like, and he happened to like some of my stuff, so we became friends on Facebook. And then one day I just thought, I'll just ask the question. So I messaged him and I said, I don't suppose you'd fancy doing a remix on one of my tracks? And he got straight back and said, yeah. And I thought, wow, you know, so he mixed a track called DNA, and it was great, you know. So we carried on talking, and we talked about maybe me doing an album with Jeff producing. So it was Jeff that suggested Nashville. Now I'd met Janice Ian up in Los Angeles when we were playing the Hollow Launch there.
Who had many hits in the 70s. She was a 70s songwriting icon.
Yeah, I mean, Janice is she's a marvellous musician as well. And lovely person anyway. She offered to play on my next record. So I thought, when Janice was living in Nashville then, I thought, I'll give her a call, you know, and sort of see if she's up for it. And that's how it led to the Janice Ian thing. And in the meantime, Jeff had been talking to Tracy Nelson and said, would you fancy being on this? And Vicky Carrico as well. So it all sort of came together. So we thought, right, let's do it in Nashville. And Jeff he knew the studio so well. It's a brilliant studio called Sound Emporium. So we just thought, right, let's go do it. And off we went. And we played with some, you know, the Nashville musicians have got this reputation for just being like amazing at everything, you know. So I thought,
they are amazing.
Oh,
yeah.
well, let's see about this and tell us about it. Yeah.
Let's check it out.
It's like, you know, you just go like, wow, all right then, yeah, fair enough. Hands up, you win.
Yeah, it's pretty scary over there.
At least you're honest.
Oh yeah, I mean, we had this fiddle player called Kellen Michael Weinrich come in. I don't know how old he was. He'd been early 20s maybe. And he just came in and it was just like, well, you know, picking with jaws off the floor after about 5 minutes. And he came and he didn't seem to think he'd done anything particularly special. We thought he had.
We're gonna play a track by yourself, and Janice is on there as well. Is she, Bobby?
Yeah, let's.
Can we can roll this one, Trev? Is that all right?
Yeah, is that Fair Degree?
Which one is it, Bobby?
Better Times.
Better Times.
Oh God, yeah. That's now. There's a little story to that song actually, because that's Janice's song, and
Okay.
she has a project called Better Times. So what she did, she asked us if I wanted to do a copy, not a copy of it, a version of it.
Right.
And she's got over 100 versions now on her
Really?
website.
Nice.
And they're all downloadable for free.
Wow.
And there's even people like Eric Bibb did one. Neil, what's out at Crowded House? Neil Finn
Finn, yeah.
did one. Even Steve Gadd's done one. You know.
Wow. yeah.
Really?
But there's 100 plus versions now.
Steve
on
Gadd did a
his
version of Better
website.
Times Will Come?
So I did. I mean, mine's up there as well. But you can download all 100 versions for free.
Okay.
Amazing.
Janet is a great songwriter. I think it's just such a positive message that I was really happy to be involved with it. You know.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So before we run this, David here was just, when we ran the other tune, David was looking over at me saying, hey, Bobby, YouTube's going to flag this at some point. And which is kind of unfortunate. So a lot of these tunes are, registered, and there's an algorithm going in. And then when we actually upload this video, which we're going out on Facebook right now, but when we upload it to YouTube, David kind of warned me and reminded me again that YouTube is going to flag it and it's going to turn the audio off. And that's why we rolled out of that, your last tune, kind of early. So we're just going to give you that heads up here, Trevor. And hopefully that won't happen. I'm praying that it won't happen, but you know the YouTube world.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, it's like I get flagged for my own songs on YouTube quite often.
Yeah.
Pretty
and
nuts,
I've got to
huh?
send it to my website and say, look, it's
It's me.
'cause I mean, all the songs that you're playing, they're all mine, apart from
sure.
the one with Janice's. But yeah,
It's my effing tune.
Yeah, and I get it for everything that goes up. It's so that's just a one of those things.
Celery, mate, we're okay. What are we going to do?
That's the world we live in.
We're going to play a little bit of it anyway, if that's okay with you. Yeah, I'd like to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a bit of Janice and Trevor on there. We'll play a little bit, and then we'll fade it out a little bit, and then we'll come back. Yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Brilliant.
Nice having you on, Trevor. Thank you so much for coming on. Here we go.
It's been great. I've really enjoyed it, and thanks for having us.
We're not finished yet. Have a sup of tea, and we'll be back in a minute, love.
Have I got time to put the kettle on?
Yeah, go on do it, mate. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Right then. Right. Now
We're
we're
easy.
talking.
Now we're talking. Here we go. Let's play this.
Oh yeah.
Better times will come. Better times will come.
Yeah.
When this world learns to live as one. Oh, better times will come. When we greet each dawn without fear, knowing loved ones soon will be here. When the winds of war cannot blow anymore, oh, better times will come. Better times will come. Better times will come. When this world learns to live as one, oh, better times will come. Though we live each day as our last, we know someday soon it will pass. We will dance, we will sing, and that never-ending spring. Oh, better times will come. better times will come. Better times will come. When this world learns to live as one. Oh, better times will come.
I don't know what happened there. It stopped. Oh, you're back, are you? Did you put the kettle on?
I'm back.
It's all right.
I did put the kettle on.
We were playing that, and it just stopped for some reason. Then it had an abrupt halt.
Oh dear.
Never mind. Bobby's got a couple of things he wants to talk to you about, so I'm just going to hand you over to him, Trevor, and I'm going to make a coffee if that's okay with you.
So, Trevor, you do.
I don't know. It's not really. Yeah. I'll go on. Yeah.
Oh, I see. You're into them games, are you?
So, Trevor, you mentioned before you're doing a lot of sessions right now. So you're probably working over the internet doing sessions globally for different players all over the place. Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, there's a sort of few things happening, you know. So it's like I've done a few to America and Portugal, and I just did one in Austria the other day. So it's good. You know,
Yeah.
it's all very enjoyable.
Because I'm working on projects all the time here, and I think I'm going to send you a few things to see how you like them, if you like them, and maybe we can talk about maybe working on a couple of things.
Yeah, for sure. Great. Excellent. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, working with my friend Matthew Kelly. I told you earlier, wonderful singer-songwriter and harmonica player. Used to work for the Grateful Dead, and we're doing some work here together, and. Going to send you some tracks and let you hear, and maybe we can do something.
Oh, that sounds great. Yeah, I'm well into that. Excellent. Nice one. Thanks, Bobby.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you some gear questions. I really loved your, what was the track we played earlier in Portugal? What kind of amps are you running?
Stand next to him.
What kind of amps were you running on at that gig?
I run one amp, which is a Kemper.
Oh, so that was a Kemper.
Profiler.
Sounded great.
Do you know, it's me Kemper is just, I mean, I've been across to America with it loads of times now, and it's like, you get a sound check, you just stick me Kemper on, and I just say, like, take a lead out of that, and it comes round, you know, it's like three years of drums and stuff like that, and they go, like, guitar check, and you go, all right. And it's like, and it just sounds the same wherever we go, you know. So
it's an amazing piece of gear. I have a few friends that have them, and they're crazy about them, and you know, they're into the whole modeling thing, and it's kind of an amazing piece of gear.
Do you know, it can do so much that I don't use it for, because I got me Kemper. I mean, I've had me Kemper for 5 or 6 years now, I think, you know. And when I got it, I think it's got 999 amps in it or something. And I just thought, when was the last time I took 999 amps to a gig? And, you know, I couldn't remember a single instance of it. So what I did basically on the first day, I found about 3 sounds that I liked. And I thought, that sounds pretty much like me.
There you go. Let's keep that. Let's just go with that.
And
that's your sound.
That's just what it's been. Yeah. So I've never bothered with it. But I know the rest of the stuff's in there. I do have me little session amp profiled. But having said that, I don't really use it, and and it's a bit daft because I've got my session amp here if I really wanted to use it anyway, you know.
Very cool.
But I've still got some great stuff that I don't use. I've got you know, orange amps.
Sure, yeah.
Well, I've got number 23, you know.
Come on, really?
Yeah, it's an amp head. It's weighs approximately the same as 2 grand pianos. And it's a great amp, but it never ever gets used, you know. So I think I might have to sell it one day, but it's like it just lives under my stairs, you know.
Wow, number 23, seriously?
Yeah, 023. Well,
yeah,
the actual serial is 120023. But when I found out about the serial number, the 120 at the beginning stands for 120 watts. And they actually told us, said, yours is 023. He said, and there won't be very many of the other 22 left in the world today.
That is nuts.
Yeah, and it's still an amazing amp.
Wow. And your Les Paul plugged into that must sound ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I've used it on bass before, and as a bass amp, it's just fantastic. You know?
120 watts, you got all that headroom.
Yeah, but this Kemper thing, what I run it through live, is I've got it. Depending on where we are, normally I just like if we're going like America or something like that, I just go straight back through the monitor system at the PA.
Yeah.
So I don't use an amp at all. When we're playing live over here, I use a 900 watt full range cabinet. I've actually got 3 of them, but I only use one of them, and I just point it back at it so I've got like control over it. And on me last Stratocaster that I got stolen, I had a Fishman wireless MIDI system. In fact, I've got one. It's not plugged in yet at the moment, but I've got one on this one as well, which is like, I don't know if you've seen
That's
these
the
before.
Roland. Is that the Roland? Oh, that's a Fishman. Okay.
It's a Fishman. It's
Yeah.
wireless and there's no latency.
Oh, wow.
So
No latency. There you go.
Is that what is that? Is like just having a radio signal guitar?
It's a guitar synth pickup, so you could actually put that pickup actually triggers any kind of sound that you want. Yeah, any synthesizer. It's kind of
Yeah.
amazing.
Cheers, by the way, Trev. We'll you know, thank you.
this is all very good, isn't it? It's like
What
yeah,
living
longest
room stuff?
cup of tea.
Living room stuff.
Oh, that might be my new album title.
What was that? Say that again.
Look,
Living room stuff.
Living room stuff, yeah. And I might call this the first track, Long Distance Tea.
Why
It's
not?
a bit like a little feat.
Why not? What sort of influences you now these days? I mean, present day. I mean, working in studios, coming up with new things. I mean, do you like? Or, I mean, your music is covering quite a distance. I mean, where is it at the moment, and what are you working on?
Right, what I'm working on at the moment. I mean, to be honest, I just follow my nose, whatever I'm doing. Really, I don't really think about anything,
Right.
Because I'm not very good at thinking of things.
I'll drink to that. Cheers. This is all Danny's doing, by the way.
If anything sounds all right to us, then I just leave it in. Sometimes there's mistakes, that I've left in and made features of it out of things. What I'm working on at the moment is an album I've been meaning to do since Hollow, because on the Hollow album I had a track called Hollow Part 1 at the beginning, and I finished the album off with Hollow Part 2, and then I had a lot of other tracks in between it. There was actually more than Hollow Part 1 and Hollow Part 2 written at that time. And I always thought I'll come back and I'll do an album which is just about Hollow, which I'm working on at the moment. And the working title at the moment is Hollow 2 Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the influence on the Hollow? I mean, where's them sounds coming from? I mean, was there any influence on there?
Yeah, I mean, my cigar box guitar, that sort of like that opened sort of Hollow up, and like I say, I just go with whatever comes out of my mouth at the time, and there was nobody more surprised than me when I came out with an apparition appeared before me one night when I least expected it. I thought, what's all that about?
Trev, I lost you at A.
Hey, Trev.
It's like, I don't know what's going on inside here, but there's something not wired up right there, And it's not
Trev,
the headphones.
We got the train queued up here, which actually features your cigar box guitar.
That's right.
So we should.
It's actually it's an anti-drug song, that one as well. Actually, believe it or not.
You want to put a bit of this in, yeah?
I think we should run that just to give
Okay.
the audience a little hit of your guitar, the cigar box guitar.
Is that okay,
And-
Trev? We just run a bit. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Absolutely fantastic. Yes,
Good.
please do.
Here
Good.
we go.
Let's go by train. That just keeps rolling on. And not much more than anyone could ever need anybody else. That's how I wanted you. You pulled me in, you spat me out, made me dependent on you. I'm addicted to your railroad, but my station's undefined. I've been a fool to myself since the day that I made line. I bought a one-way ticket, now I don't wanna go. Oh no, help me in my RV. Please don't let that whistle blow. Don't let it blow, boy, don't let it blow. I said have mercy, it just keeps rolling on and on, and nothing gets in its way. Nothing and no one, nobody. Well, free me from this prison, save me now, oh Lord. Got me shaking fingers to the communication cord. I said, help me defeat this enemy within. Help this poor deserving soul rise above this mess. He's in him, I cry. Yeah, I cry. Come on, train. Just lost control for a little while, that's all. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, train, come on. It just keeps rolling on and on. Well, gaze into my eyes, see what you have done. You've taken all my self-respect, which more than anyone could ever need anybody else. That's how I wanted you. You pulled me in, you spat me out. Now I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna stop you, train, right now. I'm gonna stop you in your tracks. Come on, train, come on. We're gonna hit it, don't come back. I said have mercy. Come on, train.
I love that. I love that one.
Hey,
Thank you
Trevor,
very much.
that was really special. I have a question. That performance that night was a magical performance, and you guys really dialed into the sound perfectly. I mean, what did it take? What kind of production did it take to get it to that level where it sounded that really good?
Well, it's funny. I mean, the actual album that we've got at the moment is less than half what, because we played for just over 2.5 hours that night. So there's probably going to be another album coming out of it. What
Off of that gig? From that same
off that
performance?
gig, yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and it was all filmed as well, so we've got all the video footage for it. What we did is we had a great Portuguese engineer called Jill Eanes, who recorded all of the stems. So then he sent me the stems, and I mixed it here in the house.
Oh, wow. You mixed it there?
Yeah.
Respect.
So-
That was a beautiful mix.
Well,
Beautiful.
He'd made a really good job on the on.
It was
actually
recorded
recording
properly,
the-
so it was. Yeah, I get it.
So
Easy work
yeah,
for
so
you.
it was. Yeah, I mean it's the first time I've ever mixed a live album, I have to say. So it did, it took a bit of to and fro to get it how I wanted.
Sure,
and then
sure.
eventually I just thought, you get to a point where you think that's got to be it. It must be finished now, So, and then
So you have a Pro Tools rig there?
I have got a Pro Tools rig, but to be honest, it hasn't been used for about the last 7 or 8 years. Because
So what are you mixing?
I use a program called Ableton Live.
Okay, wow, Ableton, you got it.
Yeah, and the reason I did that is because I did some teaching at a university, and I used to go down there and do some lecturing, and we had Pro Tools and everything in there, and then they said, "Oh, can you do a little bit of Ableton Live?" And I went, "Yeah, I'll have a listen to it." Now, I thought that Ableton Live, because I'd seen it before, was I'd used it like a plugin inside Pro Tools.
Sure.
But I thought, right, I'll have to learn how to do this. And I've done a lot of TV commercials in the past. So I had a commercial come in and I thought, right, I've got to do this. I'll try it on Ableton Live because for the first time ever, they'd given us a little bit of time to do things, So I thought, if I get halfway through this, I'll just scrap it and I'll go back and I'll do it in Pro Tools. And I did it faster without looking at any the information than I would have done it with Pro Tools. So that was me. I just
lesson learned, huh? Wow.
Yeah. And it's very stable on Mac and on PC as well. It's great. So yeah, I changed over that.
Great job. Beautiful mix.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I love it. I was going for it here. I was giving it. If you get the nod, Trev, I've got to tell you from Thailand, mate. If you get the nod going, that's it. You've passed the test.
That's the main thing. Then.
Danny got the nod, so he's a great nod. What about touring? I mean, when this is over, is there anything planned?
Yeah, there's stuff planned, but whether it's going to happen or not is anybody's idea. I mean, we're meant to be going to America in January, but I really can't see that happening now. And we're hopefully in the summer going to Portugal, where I was going to mix the rest of the album and do a launch in Portugal as well. That might still happen with a bit of luck. There's a decent possibility of Austria, and wherever else happens to what if anybody else wants it.
I mean, we don't know there's current. I mean, here in Thailand at the moment, you can imagine that the doors are locked.
Nobody knows what's going to happen,
and it's just like deflation here at the moment. In the way of like everybody, it's just businesses and whatever. But it's there's always entertainment. There's always online stuff. I mean, do you get the buzz still going on tour?
Do I? Sorry?
The buzz. Do you still get the buzz?
Oh, yeah, I love it. It's great. I mean, I do quite a lot of gigs on my own as well, which I like doing. But when it comes to going back to playing with the band, it's just great. It's like, that's what I learned how to play for, I mean, I do have one more show that's this year, on 23rd of December in Newcastle. Which I'm hoping might go ahead.
Well, they've just given a new rule out today. So what date is that? 23rd.
Yeah, 23rd of December.
I think you've just missed out because on the 24th till the 28th, the government say that 4 families can get together and have a party. So your concert would have been banging, mate. But you've missed it. You've missed it by a day.
Drat. Oh well, I think it's all a big conspiracy against me. The whole thing. That's what.
Hey, this guy at the side of me, don't even mention it, Trev. Once you set him off, that's it. We'll be here till Saturday. I'm telling you, Saturday we'll be here. That's it.
The conspiracy ain't no theory.
Wow, I'll have to think about that one.
You do realise if any of this material is used on any album you ever make, that we've got the intellectual property rights on this of a show, haven't we, Bobby?
We do.
So I think so.
Trev's new album. Hang on, I said that.
Yeah.
Go for it, mate.
I'm just sampling you because I'm going to drop you in all the way through and do it.
From us here in Patio, and Talking Heads, you have our permission to sample us as much as you like.
Great. It's called Live in Thailand. Live
in Thailand. Is there anything else you would like?
Well, I wouldn't mind a blank check to be going on with.
Yeah, there you go.
No, sorry. Trev, we're losing transmission there, mate. Sorry. What about future projects? I know that you're working on some stuff that you've got now. I mean, let's just go down the line a bit and think a little bit ahead. I mean, are you going to change the way of direction? Is there anything new around the corner?
Yeah, the direction changes all the time. You know, it's like the album that I mentioned.
Ask your band members that.
Sorry?
Ask your band members that, yeah? The direction changes.
That's probably, that's the one. They'll tell you.
They'll nod to that.
But, this album, Follow On to Hollow, is very different to the Hollow one. I'm also... I've been in talks with Jeff Wilborn, a producer in America as well, about doing a duets album. And spoke to Janice and Tracy, and they're both up for doing them. And there's a couple of other prospects that might come up with something. The difficulty at the moment is that we're not in the same country.
No.
Do you know of a songwriter? Do you know of a songwriter named Paul Brady who lives over in Ireland?
Once again, that rings a bell, Paul Brady. I don't know him.
Prolific songwriter, and actually, I used to listen to him a lot. And then actually, Bonnie Raitt heard about him, and then Bonnie recorded one of his songs. And
now you're talking.
Yeah. So Bonnie really appreciated his songwriting. He's a great songwriter. And covered one of his songs, which actually became a hit.
Wow!
It's called "The Only One."
All right. I mean, I have to say that's another bucket list thing for me. I would.
Yeah, I have a connection to Bonnie. So we're gonna see what happens with this, because one of my best friends in the world, her name is Pamela Pohl, and she is a great songwriter and worked with Columbia in the early '60s. Actually, her guitar partner when she was 17 years old was Ry Cooder. So she grew up. Wow. Yeah, she grew up in Southern California and did the whole singer-songwriter thing. Worked with Ry Cooder, then went off to do her own career and do her own thing. And but she's really good friends with Bonnie, and Bonnie comes to Maui a lot and visits her. And I got to meet Bonnie a few times and actually swim with Bonnie. And she came down and heard our band, and we hung for a couple of times, and so maybe we can make a connection and get your music into her sphere.
That would be amazing, because I absolutely love Bonnie Raitt, always have done, you know. And I saw it at the Grammys when they were doing she was just part of a thing where they were doing a tribute to B.B. King. But
she's a badass, man. Great. She's a badass. I've heard her solo. I remember hearing a track with Stevie Ray, Albert King, Bonnie Raitt, maybe Jimmy Vaughn. And her solo out of all those guys, it was blistering. It was one of the most amazing blues solos I've ever heard. That woman can hang, man.
Yeah, and she's just got such a great style of vocals as well. You know, it's like I'm totally into Bonnie Raitt. Like, I think she's brilliant.
Yeah, I can hear you guys working together for sure.
There you go.
So I'm going to make it happen, man. Mark my words.
If you can do that, I'll be very happy.
You can't imagine what we can do here, Trev. We've got so many buttons, mate. Listen,
Michelle, he's going to get us on with Bonnie Raitt.
There you go. Michelle's back again. She came in at the beginning. She's at the end as well.
Well, actually, my friend Matthew, who I'm working with here in Thailand, is connected to Bonnie too, and he's trying to get her on a track. So maybe we can do something here and all work together and have some fun.
That would just be absolutely amazing. That would be amazing.
Okay, the seeds are planted.
We'll hook it. We'll hook it up. Yes, we'll hook it up. Hook it up. Listen, Trev. We're gonna go. It's gone past the hour of my bedtime already over here. I hope you don't mind.
We did a double header today. This is our second podcast in one day, so we're kind of burning the candle.
I've got another 9 hours. I've got another 9 hours worth of stuff.
Well,
we can do part two, man.
We can. Listen. Here's your chance in part one. We're going to do a part two. Is that all right with you if we do a part two? You can join.
Brilliant. Yeah.
You can join us on a part two. On your piece of paper in front of you, have you got anything at all that you want to put into part one before we say goodbye?
No, I don't think so.
Good. I like him already. We'll do a part two.
It's not a real piece of paper. It is actually a real piece of paper, but it hasn't really got anything particularly written on it. It just happens to be there, you know. But it is a real piece of paper.
That's my life story, Trev. That's my life story. Blank piece of paper. Listen, Trev, all joking aside, mate, you're an amazing musician. We love your music over here. I mean, Bobby really appreciates it more than I do, believe it or not, because I listen to the track, and because I was a DJ, you know, for odd years, I listen to the track and I go, you know, that's a foot stomper. That's nice. I like that. And that's me done. This guy over here dissects it. Dissects it. That's right, isn't it? Dissects it?
Dissect, yeah.
Dissect. Can I say that? But I
I
mean,
know what you mean.
You know what? It's in that vicinity anyway. But he does all that, and he's good at that, and he really appreciates, which you'll probably say in a minute. But it's been brilliant to have you on the show, and we really appreciate it. I mean, we're trying to do as many podcasts as we can with as many people as we can over a period of time, and at the moment we're averaging 1 to 2 a day, so we're having fun there.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I mean, we get in, and there's no, like I said, you know, we said today with our new editing, you know, it's our show with no boundaries. So, you know, we're not anything on this show.
And for part 2, Trevor, we can do some unplugged stuff. If you can grab your acoustic guitar and we sing some tunes, man, that would be great.
Yeah, we can do that. Like no problem.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed myself. Actually, it's been it's been a nice afternoon.
It is.
You know?
It is. And the honest answer is, I'm still enjoying it and I love it. Yeah, but I'm fading. Is the honest answer to that? I'm just like, you can't believe how much this American guy at the side of me works me. It's unbelievable. You think you're hard to buy? Give him a what? A dig.
Give him a dig, Bobby.
I've tried that, mate, and he just flogs me.
We give each other digs all the time, man.
Listen, we're gonna hook up again, Trev, if that's okay with you.
Fantastic.
And a big shout out, if Danny and Claudia are still listening, big shout out, because those are the two people that introduced us together and made this connection happen across the globe. And
thanks, Danny and Claudia.
Thank you, Danny and Claudia. One more time.
What we tend to do as well, Trev, just to let you know, anybody that comes on the show, a way of a thank you is, of course, we put all your links in our links, and we put them all over the sites anyway. So in that way, we say thank you to you for coming on, and we support you as much as you can. And thank you for supporting us for coming on the show and having a bit of a laugh and an insight into what you do in part 1.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, chaps, and I'll look forward to hearing your stuff as well, Bobby.
Good. All stay in touch, yeah? Trev, thanks a lot, yeah? Okay.
Absolutely.
Great, thank you.
Catch us later.
Thank you, Trev.
Talking Heads podcast live from Pattaya, Thailand with your host, Dave D. Join us weekdays. Check out all the latest updates on talkingheads-podcast.com.